They have no fear.
Hey guys, welcome back to, I think, probably quite a surprising result after seeing the two comps that were brought there. I mean, a band apart there bringing a slightly modified version of the team we've seen Volta and PL bring earlier today, upgrading the Navy Scorp into a golem for the crazy paints, and then taking those 2 points they needed from the Jackdaw, turning it into a flycatcher. Very strong team we've seen from two top teams, but now against a team that we were generally considering not particularly amazing with the Mowers. We did lose a flagship Mac there. I'm really excited to see how much that was worth. Flagship's always great to see. Rilo, what did you think of that match? Was that a surprise for you as well?
That was a real surprise to me. That Macario literally lived to win. He was so close to dying, but he just held on. He just held on like crazy. That Skimmy deserves a medal. Yeah. Definitely.
Not only that, when AB started shooting the Scimitar pilot, who I'm afraid I can't remember the name of, they traded him for a Sleipnir and a Simi, and the Simi went down before he did. He did an amazing job. That's an incredible Scimitar pilot. So really massive props to Lente Militia, taking ABA down into the lower bracket. Rocket, what are your thoughts on the match we just saw?
Well, it could have gone either way for a while, in fairness. But I think what really kind of swung it was when we realised that the remaining ships on field were a few T3 destroyers, and they had to try and kill blaster mowers, which was never going to go very well for them, because the T3 destroyers are big enough for mowers to hit with blasters. So they just got like thoroughly obliterated.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to pick a ship to kill a Swipple with, and you don't have that many points to go with, like Moa's going to be one of your top picks, right, Reload?
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you have the tackle to support it as well, yeah.
Caracals can also work as well, but they don't have a resistance bonus, which is so key in these type of setups, because resistance bonuses keep ships alive. That's basically.
I mean, they had the Serb as well with the rapid lights. That's going to make a massive difference. We saw it nuke through the Swipples, and I think I think one of the Jackdaws that was left as well nukes down really, really hard. We are moving into our final match of the day. Sadly, it's already over. The time has flown here. Let's have a look at who we've got next. It is 404 Alliance Not Found against Snuffed Out, straight off of their victories early on. We're still in the winners bracket. No eliminations until tomorrow. We don't have the schedule through for that yet, but it's going to be very exciting. I'm also very excited for this match because it is our final match, and we will be going for beer and pizza, which I'm very excited for. It's going to be great.
Tomorrow.
Sure. Okay, so 404 versus Snuffed Out. What are we thinking? Why don't you start us off, Rocket?
I'm going to go Snuffed Out. They're someone who's been in tournaments before. They have the resources behind them. I think they can do it.
I'm gonna go with Trashbox because they did bring Blaster Nagas, which were the throwback. So come on, Trashbox, I believe in you. You can't bring slave guardians, unfortunately.
My friends in Waffles will know that I am a big fan of the Blaster Naga meta. I tried it to make it real for us when I was still an FC there. So
well, you've never tried to win the AT with Nagas, right?
That's true. I have not tried to win the AT with Nagas. Fortunately, nobody has ever entrusted me with our odds of winning the AT. I submitted a ton of comps to PL this year, like 40 or so. We're using none of them. They're all garbage. Like, they're terrible. But it's okay. It's fine as long as PL do okay. I mean, we did lose an Atana. Maybe my comp would have lost an Atana because I was too scared to put an Atana in a comp, perhaps. But still, it's fine. It's cool.
Do you know what you should have done? You should have used some Z-Kill Guide Fitz.
I should have.
Exactly.
Z-Kill Guide, man. Just listen to MLG Adam, who is probably the premier fitting guru of EVE Online.
Exactly.
Seriously, into this match now. 404 was Snuffed Out. I'm going to go through the little sneaky document I have here. Let's have a look at what Snuffed Out brought last time. 404 for a stat sheet. 404 brought a modified TFI core, so they had the double TFI. They brought a Balgorn and a Astarte, a Neros, 2 Crores and 2 Punishers, and Tristan. So going really heavy in the core with the Astarte, with the double TFI, in the with the Astarte, and then really losing on the low end. But Punishers, you know, really good ships. They're just handy throwaway tackle with that resist bonus. Crores as well, 2 points. Amazing power for 2 points. And then if I do my best to go and find Snuffbox, here we have, they brought the double Sleipnir, double Naga. Both Nagas died sadly. Maybe they've got a few others. They're not that expensive. Double Swipple, a Caracal, 2 Sabres, and a Scimitar. Now, if we assume that they bring those two same comps again, who do you think would have advantage in that matchup? Do you think the TFIs would just nuke the Nagas, or do you think the Nagas have it?
I definitely think the heavier core might have this. If they play it right, I definitely think the heavier core.
I think that it's ultimately going to depend on whether they can keep their frigates alive, because they've only got the Punishers and
the Tristan.
T-1 hulls. If they can keep them alive and get tackle on than the other team, which is ultimately a lot more mobile, potentially.
I mean, we are seeing Sabres in that previous snuffed out comp. Excuse me. I feel like they've fallen off out of the AT meta. Do you think that's just because of the Svipple, or do you think there's some other reason for the Sabre to fall off in popularity? Because, you know, if you used to see a Minmatar rush, you would see a Sabre.
Yeah, definitely. I think in AT10, the Minmatar rush was really popular. Probably because missiles weren't as popular back then, so Minmatar rush was the way to go. You had the usual Vindicator, you had like the Vindicator rush and the Sleipnir rush, and usually they were pretty close. So the Sabre was also involved in the Minmatar rush, but obviously people have tended towards going for more ranged, so like missiles, flycatchers, and obviously the Sveeples come out as well. So Sveeple, flycatchers, heretics, things like that, making the Sabre less than used. But still, I think it's still viable.
Yeah, I think for the AT, really, it goes for a lot of the dictators that there are now other ships in the game that fill that role and do it better than those ships do.
I mean, one of the nice points about Dictors, generally speaking, is that they're 4 points compared to the T3D6. So, for example, we saw the other interdictors, specifically the missile ones, the Flycatcher and the Heretic, very, very popular last year. Really great anti-support, but they've kind of been pushed out by those T3Ds. Do you think that interdictors, the light missile ones, the Heretic and the Flycatcher still have a place in the tournament, or do you think it's just T3Ds all the way fulfilling that role?
When you're 2 points short of putting a T3D in your team, then it's great.
Yes, that's true.
Other than that, you know.
If you're gonna build if you're gonna go from like the ground up, I think interdictors are an interesting choice. I think they're still viable. I still think they're viable. They have the same range. They have the same amount of damage, similar. Obviously, T3Ds have much more brawling potential and tank potential. But flycatchers, interdictors in general, they're pretty fast. So I think they have definite potential.
Okay, so we are going to this match really soon. We have 6 or 7 minutes before it starts. I mean, we've had such a good day of matches today. We've had upsets. Let's, as we've got a little time, go over some of the amazing things we've seen today. We saw Tinking lose an Etana.
Yeah,
We got an AT ship down.
On the first day.
I have lost count of how many flagships have died, be they Macarials or Balgorns. We've seen quite a few of Barguests as well, potentially. A lot of people in the chat are predicting Snuff to win. Somebody has put 5 bill on Snuff to win, which is a braver capsuleer than I. What else has been really cool today? Ryload, what are your highlights of today?
My highlights: flying in the studio. I'm not gonna lie. I think flying literally down the corridor. It was pretty intense, considering people are commentating in the other room, being self-conscious about that. But other than doing that, I definitely think like the nail biters, like last match, that was a hell of a nail biter. That Macarial was so low, it eventually died, but it traded so many ships. That was definitely a highlight as well.
Okay, what about you, Orcadex? What's your pick of the day, or your favourite moments of today?
I've enjoyed watching NCDOT, to be fair, because I mean, like they're not known to be a prolific tournament team, but they have been in tournaments through the years, and they've been pretty solid. In fairness, they've not gone through all the way, but they've gone a fair way, and they feel the heavier, more brawling doctrines than kiting, and they don't really do the control stuff maybe as well, but they do make up for it in the damage they put on the field.
Yeah, with the Fiend Sabre as well, I would say that's I can do both kite and brawl, but the Fiend is pretty interesting in them bringing the Fiend. It'll be interesting to see what they'll bring next.
We actually went quite low in shield at one point.
It was quite low
very
in
close
shield.
to armor.
Yeah, it was pretty close, but that's skimmy.
Well, for the last time today, we are going to hand over to Squeebles and Teutonia to cast our final match of the first day, AT14. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. It is going to be 404 Alliance Not Found versus Snuffed Out. We will see you in a little bit.